Hi, welcome back. We're now into part 3, which is washing reusable nappies. Before we go any further, I will just give you a sort of disclaimer. The advice in this session is based on the water that we have in Bristol and South Gloss. Now, our water is very hard, which means we often have to wash our nappies a slightly different way to some other systems and other areas because we need to take account of that hard water. So if you have your own water supply that's not hard, or you're watching this video from somewhere else, or you're passing the information on to a friend, remember to remind them they're going to have to tweak these instructions, mostly on detergent dose and rinsing, to their water areas. So those in soft water areas will not need the dose of detergent that I'm talking about, and they may need to add rinses after their wash. So keep that in mind. So nice and easy to start with. If we are, we'll start with when you change your baby. Okay, so your baby needs a nappy change and you are, say, out and about and not at home. And let's say you are using reusable wipes as well. Okay, so you've got everything you need. You're out and about, you're not at home, you're changing your nappy. So I'll do that at the same time. So take off your child's nappy, open it up, find whatever they've done for you. If you're using washable wipes, you'll have these wet, or you can wet them at a tap if you're in a baby change with a toilet. Give them a wipe, clean it all up. If your nappy has Velcro, this is the point that it's easiest to fold back the Velcro tabs now. Pop your washable wipe in if you're using those. If you're using a paper liner or disposable wipes, you may prefer to take those out now and pop them in a nappy sack. Otherwise, you'll have an interesting job peeling them all apart when you get home, but that is a valid way of doing it. Roll the nappy up, sort of similar to the way you would a disposable. I wouldn't suggest you snap them down or Velcro them down, but then that used nappy, if the poo is still liquid, leave it in there. If you're out and about, if it's a solid poo and you're in a place with a toilet, by all means bung the poo down the toilet so you don't have to deal with it when you get home. If you're not, and there's still unfortunately a lot of baby changes not with a toilet because it's either not possible or they don't realise that it's useful, you'll need to pop that into your medium size waterproof wet bag. Pop it in there, zip it up. Okay. When you get home, or if you were at home, you would put that into either a really large one of these in a bucket at home. You just tip it all straight into there, presuming you don't have to deal with poo, or you might have a mesh bag such as this one lining a bucket with a lid at home. When choosing a bucket, make sure it's not an airtight one. You don't need mesh baskets with holes because you're going to smell the nappies around the room, or your toddler is going to get themselves into them. But a bucket with a lid that's not airtight, because you don't want anaerobic bacteria growing in your nappy bucket. But overall, something loose-fitting lid, perhaps a lockable one if needed, or the larger wet bags, perfectly useful at home. We like the larger wet bags because we could throw them in the cupboard or under the side of the bath when we had people coming and just get them out of the way. Certainly better than having a bucket being moved around the bathroom every time you need to do something if you don't have space for it. So when you get home, you tip your smaller bag into the bucket or into your mesh bag. You will leave those nappies for up to 3 days, we would suggest. Reason being, at about the 3-day mark, and it's not an exact science, the ammonia in the nappy starts to set. It forms urea crystals, which are quite jagged, get smells in the nappy that are just really hard to get out. So make it easy for yourself. Up to every 3 days, run your nappy wash. Obviously, by which point you'll have dealt with the poo already, because you don't want to deal with 3-day-old wet and yucky poo. That was the reason we suggested you folded back the laundry tabs, because if when you come into your bucket after 3 days, you have to do laundry tabs and take out paper liners and deal with poo, it's not very nice. Don't do that to yourself. You've got enough to do. Do it when you change the nappy. Your hands are already dirty. Wash your hands. Done. Okay. So every 3 days, get your wet bag or your mesh bag, roll back the top, and chuck the whole thing straight in your laundry drum, as is. Because your nappies aren't Velcroed up to themselves, and because you've already dealt with the poo and the liners and the rest of it, that will be tumbled out and taken out of the bag by your washing machine during the first rinse. You don't have to do it. You don't have to touch them. You don't have to mess with them. So when you've chucked them in the machine, in our water, it's really, really important that you run a cold rinse. What this will do is it dilutes the ammonia down, rinses out a lot of the sort of like the poo and the contaminants in there, and just makes the whole job a lot easier for your main cycle, which has all the work to do because of that lovely hard water. You will see other places advising to rinse every day. You will see them advising to put detergent in this. Those of us that have been doing cloth nappy, I've been doing it well over a decade, and in the UK Nappy Library Network and amongst all the manufacturers and retailers, we have hundreds of years of experience at this. This is honestly the simplest and safest way to start. Don't give yourself complications. Don't rinse nappies every day, put them back in, add detergent, calculate this, do long 2 or 3 long washes after each other. It's supposed to be easy. Don't you have enough to do? This works. So cold rinse up to every 3 days. You can do it more if you have more nappies to wash, but if you don't have a load, don't worry about it. The cold rinse will drain and spin, and that's taken a lot of the contaminants away. Then, if you have any more washing that you wanted to put in with the nappies, that's a good point to do it after that rinse and spin. Chuck them in at that point. Anything that doesn't mind being washed like a nappy, so 40 to 60 degrees, no fabric conditioner, anything that can cope with that. Your towels, your bedding, your baby clothes, usually the best options. Chuck them in at the same time. You want your drum to be full enough that if you slide your hands in over the top, turn them sideways in, do dead hands in the top, they've just got space for your thumbs and your fingers to touch the top of the drum and the load of washing. Less washing, there will be too much space, you'll get tons of bubbles and not enough agitation. That's the one where we sometimes see people's machines flooding up with bubbles and overflowing because it was too much space. Similarly, you don't want too little, because if there's too little, the nappies can't agitate properly and they're not going to get clean. So have your balance, jazz hands in the top. Okay. So for your main cycle, you ideally want a cottons wash because these use lots of water and agitation. They actually, sometimes when you're using a meter on them, they turn out to not use as much electricity as you think. I know they're quite long, and we've done sums here that suggest that washing at 60 compared to washing at 40, in order to make a saving, after your 10th wash at 40, you would get past the point of saving 1 penny over a wash at 60. Obviously, that's going to depend on how efficient your machine and the rest of it is, but that seemed to be about the point that the few machines we tested seemed to save enough money to get past that point. So it's not as bad as we thought. So in your main wash, 40 to 60 degrees cotton. If your nappies are brand new and under warranty, follow the instructions. If they say wash at 30 or wash at 40, then give us a shout. We can get in contact with the manufacturer in question, drop them an email, you can do it yourself if you want to, and just clarify whether washing at 60 would void your warranty. If they don't say that, if they say you can wash them hot or wash them at 60, or if they weren't bought brand new by you with a proof of purchase, then it's your choice to wash at 40 or 60. All the Nappy Library nappies are washed at 60 because these are some of the dirtiest things we have. The PUL can take it, the bamboo, the hemp, they can all take the 60 washes. It's just a case of, it really is about watching warranties, because you don't want to invalidate your warranty and then not have one in place if there was actually a fault with your nappy because of the stance of the manufacturer. We need to respect that. Okay, so 40 to 60 degrees cottons wash. I suggest when you're starting out that you stick to powdered detergent. It is actually cheaper per wash than a liquid or a gel, but also in our hard water we find that the liquids and the gels just don't cope very well with really dirty stuff. I often get something called the stinks referred to me. So the stinks is when you pull out your clean nappies from the machine and you're like, whoa, knock your head off, what's that? Or your child does one wee in a clean nappy and knock your head off and you're beginning to wonder what's wrong with them. Are they teething? Have they got a bug? That really, really weaks. And what tends to be because is if you haven't been using enough detergent or the correct detergent, over time the bacteria and the ammonia that's left in the nappy gradually builds up and you get what we call around here affectionately the stinks. It's fixed by a sensible washing routine. cold rinse, using enough detergent for your water type and using a high enough temperature. You don't need crazy situations with massive numbers of washings, boil washing or bleach. You just need to fix your wash routine to a nice simple one that does the job, and it is far easier to prevent it than to fix it. One of the other problems with the stinks is if there is contaminants, bacteria and ammonia still in your nappies, eventually they're going to start irritating your child's skin and cause some nappy rash, which would just be nice to avoid altogether. So, 40 to 60 degrees cottons wash, ideally with a powdered detergent that doesn't have a fabric conditioner in it. Fabric conditioner is absorbed by absorbent materials and it gums them up and it stops them from absorbing other things. Your towels actually absorb better without fabric conditioner. I didn't say it. So with your nappies, if you check on the box of your powder detergent, it doesn't have to be a special one. The supermarket own brands work fantastically. We've done well with Bristol, Ariel, Aldi's, Lidl's, Asda, Tesco, anything like that. Just look on the box and there'll be a table that will have soft water, medium water, hard water, light salt, medium salt, heavy salt, something to that effect. For us, I'm sorry, you want to slide along to the heavy soil and down to the hard water. Check that number, it'll be in millilitres. And then if your drum is over, usually about 4 to 6 kilos, if it's bigger than that, there'll be an amount underneath to add on as well. So for example, for me, when I'm using Persil, the dose for my 10 kilo drum is 235 mils of powder. Now I have a measured scoop that I actually measure it out in for each wash. Another way of doing it is to measure it the first time and then tip it into something like a kid's beaker. So just for example, that 235 milliliter dose of powder in an IKEA kid's beaker is about a thumb nail down from the top. So I know I can just put that much in on my properly full load and that will be enough powder for that wash. So cold rinse, heavy soil, hard water, extra for drum size dose of powder in a cotton 40 to 60s wash. At the end of that wash cycle, you don't normally need to add an extra rinse. In soft water areas, you'd need that rinse because you don't want there to be any detergent left. But because most of our detergent was used up just softening the water so it could start working, we really don't tend to have a problem with detergent being left. There are exceptions, particularly sensitive children. Washing machines that seem to be poor at rinsing. So in that case, you take your nappies out, they'd still be gritty and kind of soapy and probably really strongly perfumed, presuming it's not that your detergent has a large amount of perfume. Some detergents seem to be really stinky naturally. And you find that that's happened. Often an extra rinse cycle at the end will solve that problem. But overall, the majority of us will find that you don't want an extra rinse on the end of your wash because you're just adding more hard water minerals back into your nappies and making that problem even worse instead. So for drying, you may, obviously drying them outside is free. And when we actually have dry weather, quite quick. For when that's not possible, when you can't get those options, you can dry them on a regular air. You can dry them on a heated air as long as it doesn't seem to get too hot. I seem to be managing quite well at the moment with PUL, bamboo, hemp. It all goes onto the heated air and does okay. You can tumble dry cloth nappies on the low heat setting. Now in cloth nappies, cotton and microfiber can take tumble drying on hot. So say a cotton terry square microfiber insert, because microfiber is just polyester. So they can take tumble drying on hot and they could probably take a boil wash too, but it's probably completely unnecessary and a waste of power of energy if it does more than we need. And bamboo, PUL, elastics, hemp, they really cannot take it. So it's obviously far more efficient to just treat everything the same for the thing that needs the lowest conditions. So in my nappy library, I have to tumble dry everything on low because I wouldn't get things turned over in time. My bamboo, the hemp, they all seem to do okay on that. Again, like with the 60 washes though, if you have something new under warranty with a proof of purchase that says do not tumble dry at all, get onto the manufacturer or the person you bought it from, the retailers, and just double check if that's a warranty issue or a recommendation. If it is a warranty issue, then you will need to stick to not tumble drying and following their instructions until that warranty is expired. It's just not worth losing it, okay? So you can tumble dry them on low, you can use a heated area, you can dry them outside. Overall, that's all you need to know for washing. It is a lot of words, but the basic idea of dealing with everything when you take the nappy off, leave them in a dry bucket or pail for up to 3 days, cold rinse, no detergent, then a 40 to 60 degree cotton wash with a full heavy soil hard water dose for your drum size of powder, no fabric conditioner, probably no rinse afterwards, and then dry as you see best. Keeping going like that long term. Overall, you shouldn't have to tweak too much. Your nappy should be clean, your baby should be happy, and you'll be saving all that money on not buying things to use. Right, well, another break for questions, and then we'll go back to part 4. Thank you very much.